Here in part two of our webinar, Living the Digital Lifestyle, let's take a look at how we learn in the digital lifestyle, in today's current digital age. So in the 1990s, there were various methods of teaching and learning on the internet. Here at Berkeley College, we started in the upper right with a piece of software known as Lotus Learning Space. Some of the other early pioneers in digital learning were software we see here, WebCT, and the current usage for Berkeley in the upper left, Blackboard. Berkeley College in the 2000s received accreditation for their distance learning program. But Berkeley College actually started with classes back in the late 1990s. In 1998, Berkeley began using Learning Space for their LMS, their learning management software. In 2001, Berkeley College transitioned into the current Blackboard, which, as we know, has seen various upgrades to their system. In 2003 and 2004, New Jersey and New York students were offered online degree programs here at Berkeley College. And in 2005, Berkeley College began their online campus, which we are familiar with today. In 2008, 28 degree programs have been offered. And here in 2012, Berkeley College began with the interactive course resources that have incorporated our reading materials into our online learning platforms. Learning in the digital lifestyle is much different than simply holding a textbook. We see some of the electronic devices known as e-readers that have flourished over the last 10 years or so. Sony was one of the early adopters into this realm of e-learning with their e-reading books and hardware, as we see on the left. In the middle we see the Nook from Barnes & Noble, and on the right the Apple iPad. And recently, in January of 2012, Apple recently upped their game by introducing more interactive textbooks to their iPad platform. Software webinars, which we're participating in now, especially the interactive type, have also become very popular. There are various companies out there, such as WebEx, with their GoToWebinar, WebEx software, and also on the left, Cisco's Citrix, their GoToWebinar software. They're all interactive that allow for communication to and fro, and allowing for many incredibly thoughtful uses of education across the internet. Education is a matter of building bridges, according to PBS's Media Shift. And perhaps no bridge is more important than the bridge to the future. As educators, it is our responsibility to prepare students for the world of tomorrow. Yet tomorrow is not what it used to be. Our global, environmental, economic, and social challenges require non-standardized skills such as creativity, problem-solving, and collaboration. Accordingly, these are becoming indispensable skills for learners and workers who hope to stay at the innovative edge of today and tomorrow. Again, that's a link from PBS's show Media Shift. As we continue our journey into this new digital age, we are being flooded with more and more of the invisible data that we can refer to as bits. This leads to a problem that I think we need to be aware of, referred to as information overload. Information overload. The bits provide an always-on lifestyle. I think we all feel that today, either between previously the pagers or today's mobile devices. We're always connected to either work or friends or something interactive on the internet. Bits demand more of our time and attention. And bits are heavy, quote unquote. Whether you consume too many or try to ignore them, we feel them. That's what we mean by heavy here. Bit literacy is an invitation to all users to take control of their bits and become as effective as they want to be. Users themselves and no one else are responsible for the bits, how we handle the bits, either successfully or not so successfully. As you see on the screen here, I have a link to the book known as Bit Literacy. If you go to Amazon.com, or if you have an iPad, go to their bookstore and just look up Bit Literacy. There was a movie in 2011 called Connected, and Al Gore was one of the speakers in the documentary. And Connected, the movie, demonstrates our interdependence on one another and the interconnectedness of humanity with all life on Earth. The current explosion of digital technology not only is changing the way we live and communicate, but also is rapidly and profoundly affecting our brains. Daily exposure to high technology, computers, smartphones, video games, search engines such as Google and Yahoo, stimulate brain cell alteration and neurotransmitter release, gradually strengthening new nerve pathways in our brains while weakening old ones. Because of the current technological revolution, our brains are evolving right now at a speed like never before. That's a quote from Scientific American. So we have this information overload. We're constantly being bombarded by these bits, these zeros and ones, either through our cell phones, a web browser, or whatever. And it's changing not only the way we think, but potentially the physiology of our minds also. So let's look at technology and brain addiction for a second. Addiction is a chronic relapsing brain disease. Brain imaging shows that addiction severely alters brain areas critical to decision-making, learning, and memory, and behavior control, which may help to explain the compulsive and destructive behaviors of addiction. Self-proclaimed internet addicts report feeling a pleasurable mood burst or rush from simply booting up their computer, let alone visiting their favorite websites. One of the chemicals responsible for this, just like if you were addicted to alcohol or cocaine, is the chemical known as dopamine. And dopamine is responsible for the euphoria that addicts chase, whether they get it from methamphetamine, alcohol, or internet gambling. The addict becomes conditioned to compulsively seek, crave, and recreate the sense of elation while offline or off drug. So let's look at some tips for working smarter. Let's try and make this a productive webinar and try to understand what's going on with this current digital lifestyle that we are all participating in. So let's experiment with short periods of inaccessibility. Okay, your life won't implode. As with any addiction, there is a period of withdrawal and anxiety. Leave your cell phone and PDA at home at least one day a week. Saturday is a good day to cut off email and cell phone usage. For most people, it will feel like a 2-week vacation. The psychological recovery it offers is pretty unbelievable. Set a not-to-do list instead of a to-do list. Don't check email before 10 a.m. to avoid immediate reactive mode. Set intervals to check email, for example, between 10 a.m. or at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. And use an autoresponder to explain that you can be reached anytime on your cell phone. Eliminate rather than streamline whenever possible. Lose those RSS feeders. If you have an addictive impulse with tools, lose the tool. Hire a virtual assistant. A big part of priority management is teaching others to do the tasks. A big part is getting over yourself. You don't have to be superhuman email checking all the time. Buddy up. Don't go it alone on the road to recovery, because you're likely to revert to your old habits. Ask a colleague, administrative assistant, or spouse to help you enforce the new rules. And maybe most important, learn moderation. The author of some of the information on the internet is not stating that they're anti-technology. Some is good for you, but too much, as we can see in some cases, can be overwhelming and bad. Tips for email overload. Obviously, we can unsubscribe to any email list that we may have. Turn off the filter bacon. Bacon refers to email-like messages from retailers and social network notifications. Use RSS to help push and help control what information is automatically sent to our inbox. Aggressively archive into folders. I can't stress enough the importance for having a strongly controlled computer desktop environment. Don't have that uncontrolled cluttered closet that many of us have. If we learn how to use folders correctly, it really helps to organize our digital lifestyles. You can use filters and rules to help put certain emails directly into these folders. Color code, that will help you know important emails from not so important emails. Consider an inbox 0. Get tasks onto a to-do list and do them. Batch processing refers to color coding we mentioned earlier. You can also try turning off new email notifications. That may help to settle down the barrage of emails that might come in, especially spam emails. And try sending less emails. If you send less emails, maybe you will receive less emails. So there's plenty of information out there on the web to help you with this information overload. If you need help, ask. Either if you're here within Berkeley or outside in another organization, talk to people. See if there are ways to help manage this information overload. Social media is obviously taking up many people's time, much time right now. Researchers from the Wellcome Trust Center for Neuroimaging and the University College London Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience found that people who have more Facebook friends and real-life friends also tend to have more gray matter in a portion of their brain known as the amygdala. This is a brain region linked with memory processing and emotional responses. This study will help everyone begin to understand how interactions with the world are mediated through these social networks.